Hi everyone, and welcome to AdvancePro University. Today we're going to be discussing how to create or edit a customer, product, or vendor. Now, in AdvancePro, we do have these three major lists of items and records that don't deal with transactions. The products, the customers, and vendors. They're what you place transactions against. So these are vital for doing business in AdvancePro. Today, we're going to create one of each and show you how they connect to each other. So all of these records can be created or updated from spreadsheets. For more information on that, go ahead and take a look at our previous videos in AdvanceProTech.com under the Resources tab. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to go right up, and we're going to get logged into AdvancePro. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a product or a vendor. Let's start with a vendor, and then we can walk through products and go into customers. So let's go to a vendor. We're going to come in, but we can come in under View Vendors, and if we want to edit a previous existing vendor, we can click the E button. We can also go up to the Vendors tab, and we can either go to View All Vendors or Add Vendor to create a new one. I'm going to be walking through one we created. It's going to take you through the exact same set of tabs. We're just going to work through an existing vendor here. So the first page you'll be brought to when you add a new vendor is this Company Info tab. The only required field across the entire vendor profile is the company name. We do recommend putting in an account number, but from here you can go ahead and put in things like the default email as well. This is the email that AdvancePro is going to try to send purchase orders and any other documents to for the vendor company. So this is the default email. Account numbers become really useful as you're trying to make updates to vendors and with customers as you're trying to make updates to their pricing schemes as well. So we'll go through, we can fill this out. In address info, we have a couple of options here. We can actually manage multiple billing and multiple shipping addresses. So this is great if you've got a drop ship relationship, particularly when we get into customers, or if you're dealing with a company that's got multiple locations, you can go ahead and add as many as you'd like. So we can go ahead and keep adding new addresses to this. Now you'll have this drop down to choose the address that you're going to be dealing with on any given transaction. Under additional info, this is where we can put currency preferences and how this is going to sync with QuickBooks. If the QuickBooks vendor has a different name than the AdvancePro vendor, you can go ahead and make that link here. You can also set a custom accounts payable account. Okay. Now, in the next area, we can actually assign products to this vendor. So here we're actually able to go and check off the products that this vendor sells us so that the products can actually be purchased from that vendor when we make a vendor purchase order. On to the next, we're getting away from the initial configuration and more into reporting. We can see the products that are held on back order with this vendor. We can see our current orders and their history. We can see billing info. These are for any completed received orders. And we also have a login info tab for some of our web services. So this is just one of the three main areas we're going to be going through today. That's our vendor profile. So let's get into a product. So just like on the vendor side, we can go to View Products. We can edit an existing product by clicking that E button, E standing for Edit for any given product. Or we can add a product right from our quick links on the left-hand side of the screen. Or from the Products tab, we can go to Add or Edit Product. I'm going to edit an existing product. We're going to walk through actually that. So as soon as we hit Add Product, it's going to bring up the product information screen. The only required fields are name and SKU. Type will be pre-filled for you. Now you can choose non-inventory and service type items using this. And those are going to allow you to change the nature of the type of product you're producing. So service items, AdvancePro doesn't actually concern itself with what your inventory level is. It's just a stated service charge. Whereas any other item that you might see here is actually going to be a counted inventory item. So you'll see that we can also put in a UPC, so we can scan against either the SKU or the UPC fields. We can put in a unit measurement, which is just a label about what one of these items constitutes. So maybe it's a box, maybe it's a 50-gram package, maybe it's by the pound. This is what this is really going to tell us. And then you can put the weight per unit, And if you want, you can specify a customer minimum order quantity. So AdvancePro will warn you if someone's ordering too little of it. That's an optional field. Now down here we can put in the product description for the B2B and B2C web services. So AdvancePro offers shopping carts, and you're going to see a lot of settings throughout the product for the B2B and B2C shopping carts. These are also generic descriptions that can be used throughout the AdvancePro software, just to see some details on the specifications of a given product. Now we'll move ahead to the next tab, vendor and pricing info. So this is where we can create a little profile for each vendor we purchase this product from. So before we were able to associate the products, here we can create all kinds of details for how this particular product is purchased from any particular vendor. So we can add multiple vendors if we like, and for each vendor we can have a different product name as it appears on the vendor order, and a different SKU. So we can have a vendor with a catalog number that is different from our own internal SKU. You'll also see an option for a unit breakdown. This tells AdvancePro how many units come in a case. So if you order by the case from your vendor, say we get a case of 10, then when we receive this product in from that vendor, we're going to have the option, we're going to actually convert that case of 10, one case of 10, to 10 individual units automatically. We can then put in the cost price, either per unit, or if we're using unit breakdown, for the total unit breakdown. And if we are using unit breakdowns, that's going to divide out. So, for example, if I've got a 10 in my unit breakdown, now our individual unit cost price is $1. And we can also set our selling price as well when we've got that all set up. Now, we can also use units of measure, using our advanced units of measure. Check out our video on that. And volume discounts for either the customer or vendor purchases from this screen. You'll also just see the landed cost in this screen. This is based on previous purchase history and what landed costs have been previously associated with this item. We'll head over to additional info. This screen allows us to set up our QuickBooks settings if we have a QuickBooks product. We can also set up our reorder alert levels. So this is where AdvancePro is going to tell us if we're running low on a product and how much we should order. We can set it to default as a dropship item. We can set to clear any reserved quantities that we've got. If we're using picking locations, this is where we can go and assign a picking location. Now, you'll also see we can put in our dimensions, our pick, pack, and ship times, as well as our receive time for resource management. And we can put in the quantity per pallet as well. Now, as we move ahead, we can get into custom fields. We may or may not have any set up. Those are configured from admin under site settings. This is just to get some information about this product saved in the database or on documents. Variance. So this is where we can actually go and set up variations for if you have things in different colors and sizes, for example. We can set up these variants. We actually, I believe, have a whole video dedicated to variants, so we're going to leave that. But if you're interested in this for the apparel industry specifically, feel free to take a look at our variants and order matrix video. Customer pricing. So this is where we can actually create a customer price for this specific product that we're dealing with. We can also upload these in price lists from spreadsheets as well as using our global pricing manager. So if we go to create pricing, we can choose a customer and give them a specific price for this product. So that way when this particular customer orders, they're going to get a different price than everybody else. Maybe they're getting a discount or a fixed price. Now, we are starting to move away from the main configuration tabs into reporting. So we have serial numbers and lot numbers. These allow us to do tracking on products throughout our warehouses. We do have cross-sellers. This is more for our B2B and B2C options where we can recommend cross-sellers and accessories. We do have the option to set up images. And from here, we are getting increasingly over to things like commissions, back orders. We can attach PDFs as well. And we can create promotions and promotion codes. So these are things where the item might be going on sale for a limited amount of time. We can actually create a set pricing, either a code or just a promotion for this particular product. Okay, so that talks a little bit about creating products and how they integrate with customers and vendors a little bit. Vendors in terms of who you're purchasing from, customers in terms of pricing schemes. Next, we are going to be looking at customers. So again, we can start up a new customer by clicking Add Customer here on our quick links or View Customers, and we can go to E for Edit. We can also go to our Customers panel and see we can edit or add customers or view customers. So from this View All Customers screen, we can click that E button, and we're going to get a customer profile. I'm going to work with a customer who's got some history. So again, the only thing that's required is a company name. So if you need to set up a customer on the fly, you can fill out their name first and deal with everything else later. We have their primary email address and their contact information. Now as we go into address info, again, we can put in multiple addresses here. So we could have many, many different addresses listed, and we can always add new ones from the screen. In the next area, we can get into additional info. So we can deal with their preferred currency, assigning a sales rep if we've got sales reps. We can set an across-the-board discount. So we can apply a fixed discount, for example, and we can give them 10% off on everything, or we can assign a price list for them. Now we can also set their default shipping warehouse. So if we have a warehouse in California and one in Atlanta, and the customer's from California, we can set it so it always ships from our California warehouse. We can also set a preferred shipping method. So this is whichever way the customer prefers to receive their product. So if we always ship with UPS, we can set that as our carrier by default. And we can also set whether the customer will accept partial shipments. We can set their QuickBooks settings up. And as we move ahead, we can get into custom fields for the customer and their payment info. So we can actually set up how we want to view their credit card information if we want. This can also be hidden depending on the type of user that's used in AdvancePro. We can set their default payment method. We can set whether or not this customer pays tax on their purchases. And then we're getting into reports a bit and into our CRM capabilities. So we can reserve products, we can see their back orders, we can see their order history and their invoice history, so we can see whether or not they're keeping up with their invoices. We can set sales goals for this customer, and we can attach CRM notes as well, so that as salespeople are contacting this customer, we can record what was happening and when. So that just gives us a little bit of a touch about how to deal with customers in AdvancePro. We can also set their login info for our B2B or for our B2C systems. So if you're using our web services, again, the customers and the products are going to sync up directly to those. Take a look at our web services videos on AdvanceProTech.com for more information there. So this covers the basics of creating a customer, a product, and a vendor today.